To start by video number 2, conjugate and division of complex number, video number 2. What is a conjugate of a complex number? If z equal a plus ib, the conjugate is a minus ib. You take the real, you keep the real part as it is, but you put opposite sign of the imaginary part. If you have plus b, you're going to get minus b. We know from before, and denoted by bar, this bar, z bar. The conjugate of a minus b is a plus b. And the conjugate of a plus b is a minus b. We know that a minus b into a plus b is a square minus b square. However, if you have a complex number times its conjugate, a plus ib into a minus ib, we square the first, we're using this property, minus, I want to square the second part, which is ib all square. But I square is minus 1, and you have minus before, you're going to get here a square plus b square. So a square minus b square is factorizing in the real part a minus b, a plus b. And if you are working in complex and you want to factorize a square plus b square, it will be a plus ib, you add I to that one, a plus ib into a minus ib. Now, if you have 2 minus x times 2 plus x, this is in the real part. So this is what? A square minus b square, 4 minus x square. We know that. However, if you have 2 minus 3i into 2 plus 3i, this is in complex. So this is directly a square plus b square. So it's 4 plus 3 square is 9. 4 plus 9. If you want to do it like the one above, it will be 4 minus 3i all square, I square. I square is minus 1 times 9 minus 9. It will be plus 9. Instead of doing that way, directly if 2 minus 3i into 2 plus 3i, you do it 4 plus 9. Here x minus 7i into x plus 7i in complex, it's x square plus 49. You square, it's a plus. A minus ib here into a plus ib is a square plus b square. If you want to factorize vice versa, x squared minus 100, this is in the real, x minus 10 into x plus 10. This is also in the real because I don't have, I have minus between. 9 minus 7y squared, it is a 3 minus root 7y into 3 plus root 7y. This is in the real. However, if you have x squared plus 25 and you're factorizing in C, you write it as x plus 5i into x minus 5i because I have a plus. 100 plus x plus 2 all square. This is a square and this is b square. It will be a plus ib. A is 10 and b is x plus 2 into a minus ib. Now we're going to talk division by a complex number since we introduced the conjugate. If you have 2 over 2 minus 3i, a complex or a number over a complex number. 2 is real part is also real number is a complex number. We said b is 0, coefficient of I. So here a complex over a complex, you must write it in a complex form where you know the real part and the imaginary part. So what do? If you have 2 minus 3i, we multiply by the conjugate of the denominator, like we used to do last year in square root. If you have a minus root b, you multiply by a plus root b. So here I multiply by 2 plus 3i up and down, so you're going to get 4 plus 6i. A minus ib into a plus ib, it's a square plus b square, so it's 4 plus 9. So this is the real part and this is the imaginary part. So it's 4 over 13 plus 6 over 13i. So now I had a complex over a complex. Now I know the real part and imaginary. So complex over complex is always a complex. Here 2i over 3 plus I multiply by the conjugate 3 minus I. So you're going to get up 6i minus 2i square. Minus 2i square, directly you write it as plus 2. A plus ib into a minus ib, it's a 2 plus b2. So 9 plus coefficient of I is 1. 1 square is 1. So you're going to get 2 over 10 plus 6 over 10i. If you have minus 3 plus I, always try to keep the real part in denominator as positive. Okay, so if you have minus 3 plus I and the real part is negative, write it as a 3 minus I and put opposite for all. So if you multiply down by minus 1, you multiply, you all know, up by minus 1. So you have minus 2i plus 1 over 3 minus I. You multiply by the conjugate. So it's minus 6i minus 2i square, which is plus 2, plus 3 plus I over 9 plus 1. So the real part is 5 over 10 and the imaginary minus 5 over 10. Here I must have I, guys. I forgot to put I. Here 2 into I minus 2, you write it always the real plus imaginary. Here since the real part is negative, so I said put everything opposite, minus 2 over 2 minus I, multiply by the conjugate up and down, 2 plus I, you're going to get minus 4 minus 2I over 4 plus 1 down. So you're going to have minus 4 over 5 minus 2 over 5I. This is the real part, this is imaginary. Here if you have square root minus 3, you cannot start the calculation unless you put the I. So I root 3 minus 2I. So here it's all real. So you put I in factor. So you multiply the conjugate of I is minus I, because A plus, as we are saying 0 plus I. Conjugate of 0 plus I is 0 minus I. You put minus I up and down. So you're going to get minus I root 2. And here minus I times I is minus I squared, which is 1 into root 3 minus 2. Okay, is it clear? Here we're going to continue factorizing, and in C. We said in C in complex. So this is the real. We don't have complex here. X minus 3 into x plus 3 equal to 0. X equal to 3 or x equal minus 3. This is in real. Here it's in complex. You all know x squared plus 9. I want to factorize it. X minus 3i into x plus 3i. If you equate it to 0, either this is 0 or this is a 0. So x is a 3i or minus 3i. Or you can solve directly here equal to 0. So you're going to get x squared minus 9. X equal plus or minus square root minus 9. Square root minus 1 is I, and square root 9 is a 3. So it's plus or minus 3i. Here the same story, it's in complex, a squared plus b squared, so it's a minus ib into a plus ib. One of them here must be plus, okay. So the first one, x plus 1 minus 5i is 0, x plus 1 plus 5i is 0, so you're going to get minus 1 plus 5i or minus 1 minus 5i, or vice versa. You can do it directly. Equate it here to 0. You're going to get minus 25. If you remove the square here, you put plus or minus square root minus 25, which is plus or minus 5i, and x will be minus 1 plus or minus 5i. So here, the last part. Solve given z in C. Come in, we're talking in complex. Find z so that you have this one. So here, what do? We regroup z, we put coefficient of z in factor, so z into 2 minus 3i. Here you have z, you bring it to that side where z is a complex number, and everything without z to the other side. So plus 5 to the other side is minus 5. So 2 minus 5 is minus 3 minus 2i, and here you have, if you put z in factor, 2 minus 3i minus 7. So what will be z? Minus 3 minus 2i divided by minus 5 minus 3i. So division of a complex by a complex, but here the real is negative. So put 5 plus 3i, 3 plus 2i, multiply the conjugate. You're going to get 15 minus 9i plus 10i minus 6i squared. Minus 6i squared is a plus 6. Plus 6 and plus 15 is a 21. And concerning the coefficient of I, you have minus 9i plus 10i is I. And over a squared plus b squared, 25 plus 9 is 34. Solve for x and y. We did this in video number 1, just a refresh. You expand 6xi minus 10i minus 2yi plus x equal y minus xi plus 2. Real equal real, imaginary equal imaginary. If you're going to start by the imaginary, 6x minus 10 minus 2y equal minus x. The things without I, the real part is x equal y plus 2. So here you have two equations, two unknown. You can use your calculator, you can use addition method, substitution method. You can get x and y. Thank you for listening.